We'll need a gurney and a hangar bay. ETA 19.
Death at the gates again. Howling my name. Come on in, old buddy. Sorry I made you wait.
Hello there. Sorry from 17 once again. This is my Wolfenstein II. I Am Death Incarnate. No upgrades video walkthrough, and this mission is absolute hell. This is called Monster, and this chapter is monstrous. So immediately at the beginning, try to get as much ammo as you can, and run to the back of this courtroom. From this position, you want to grab this mounted shotgun and hope you don't get instantly murdered by doing so. Once you pick this up, save. Doesn't matter what your armor is, doesn't matter what your HP is, because you're going to die so quickly anyway. And all we're going to do is decisively crouch walk back and forth at the back of this room, moving all the time so we don't get killed by grenades that have the worst grenade indicator I think I've ever seen. You have to be looking at the grenade indicator to know there's a grenade there. Just process that in your brain, guys. Absolute tomfoolery. But the premise of this is very simple. You are in a room with no HP and no guns, and you are going to get bombarded by hundreds of enemies. And there are checkpoints, if you're playing, of course, on I Am Death Incarnate. There are, I think, 2. But the luxury of this difficulty is you can make your own if you choose to. I decided not to go too nuts on the saving, but I'm going to save before a couple of key places. And the rhythm of this fight is as follows. You want to try and get as much armor and life, kill them, move back and forth. And then there's going to come a point where a couple enemies start dropping down, and then there are these big ones that drop down, the diesel enemies, and you're going to hear the Engel lady start talking. Once you kill those fellas, there's going to be a spawn that happens where there's going to be a bunch of those super fast robots from iRobot, and there's going to be a dude that kicks through the doors and lets you get out into the open area at the back of the court. Once you get into the back of the court and you save, you're pretty much good to go. But this point right now is kind of tough because the gun that I'm using is a shotgun. And you might not notice it, because when I was watching Darkside Phil, I don't think he realised it was a shotgun. But you can see the cartridges coming out of the gun, which are shotgun shells. And this thing destroys up close, but at range it doesn't really do anything. And it has a ton of ammunition, it fires 2 shots every shot, and when things rush you, they go well for you, but at a distance you can't really make it work too much, and dropping it is quite a long animation, and picking it up is a long animation too, and I really don't recommend you drop it too much, but you can make it work at distance. It's a hit marker machine in a game that doesn't have hit markers, so be very careful. And another mechanic that I might not have spoken about, but you can witness in this video, is the way that your health drains away when you overclock your health. So your health maximum at this moment in time is 50. After this level, we'll be getting an upgrade to our body, and it'll enable us to have 100 health. But you can exceed that parameter by picking up overcharged HP. And this will give you a dwindling resource that enables you to take extra damage, take a few hits that you might not have been able to do before. And there are a bunch of perks that are associated with killing people while in overcharged health, I think they call it. And I'm not entirely sure what the perks do. I can't really control them. I can't seemingly turn them off, so I'm just going to ignore them, basically. But they can be really, really useful, so make sure you go for them if you're trying to get through the game. I don't know if the perks and the upgrades are going to make much of a difference on Mein Leben, but in all honesty, guys, I can't imagine doing this level without dying. And it's just death comes so quickly, you know? It really does, and if you've not played this level, you really don't have an idea of just how fast you die. But you can hear now that something is above us, something is flying over, you hear Engel on the speakers, and this is where the larger armoured enemies are going to be turning up. So there's 2 ways that this can go down if you're on this corner that I'm going to be on. You can bait them towards you and sit behind these wonderful busts, and from behind this marble, you can kind of headshot them and get them in a stun loop where you just kill them and stun them and they're all dead, and it takes about 4 or 5 shots to do that. However, one of them can get creative if you stand too far back at the beginning here, and he'll actually blast away the wooden side that you stood on. And of course, I don't have to tell you just how incredibly damaging these shotguns are in this game. To give you an idea, if you're not aware, this enemy that you just witnessed me kill just then, I had 100 life, and I had 100 armor, and I moved around a corner, and I got shot once, and I died. That's pretty steep, right? And bearing in mind that you fight a lot of these enemies, and this is a game that has a permadeath difficulty that is this difficult. So yeah, just contemplate that. But on this spawn just here, you're going to get rushed by one of those fast robots. Once you get into this corner just now, save. If you have more ammo than I do, feel free to stay where I am, because it's a really good corner for letting them come to you and just blasting them with the shotgun. But for unfortunate reasons, I don't quite have the ammo supply that I was hoping I would have. So if you come up here, you will almost never get rushed in this position. There's a couple of enemies with shotguns that can come up, but there's a really interesting exploit here with the AI that I figured out when I was doing this. If you stand here, they will queue up at the bottom and you can shoot at them, and you can have a little bit of a shootout with a decent piece of cover, throw a terrible grenade like I just did. However, if they won't move or they start coming too close this way, if you hug the right hand side of the balcony overlooking the stairs, you can get them to move back down the stairs and shoot them from that perspective. And there's a sequence coming up where more of those armoured diesel enemies turn up, and if you stand on this right hand balcony, you can shoot them from the balcony and they will never move up the stairs towards you. So it's an incredibly powerful position, but the problem is there's too much distance to make the automatic shotgun work. So if you want to stay in that, that little alcove at the bottom of the stairs and shoot from there, which is what I did on my first run, feel free to do that. I had a lot of success. But I'm just going to kind of be winging it here because I don't have the resources that I normally do. And my HP is very low, but I know I can do this because speed in this game is important, accuracy is important, and as long as you get that first shot off, you are going to win. This is also going to highlight some of the problems that I have with the iron sight, because the iron sight's there, I put it on people's heads and I fire, and it doesn't do anything, and it just makes it feel really unsatisfying. And this is a very satisfying first-person shooter at times, but the iron sights are just not winning any awards. It looks like you're staring through a portcullis into a keyhole. It's just so bizarre. And I speak about iron sights quite a lot. My philosophy on iron sights is something that I could make a video about because I believe so deeply about what they should be personally, and I just don't understand why they would rather make something look awkward and hard to use than making it look amazing and fun to use. To me, it baffles my mind. We mastered this back in Black Ops. Black Ops had nigh perfect iron sights. If you want to see a game that does iron sights perfectly, that was a really good game. And there are still evidences of bad ones, don't get me wrong, but Call of Duty always had aesthetically pleasing iron sights. The World War games weren't as good for that, and some of the most recent ones have not been my favourite, but there is a period of time where Call of Duty Black Ops and what have you just kind of owned when it came to iron sights, because they were everything they needed to be, and unfortunately, a lot of games just don't have the same amount of elegance. But just keep on peppering them. One really thing I love about this game, when you jump, you do not get crazy view kick on your gun, so you can be just as effective sprinting and jumping with your aim as you would normally. And you can't even do that in something like Titanfall, which is profound, but it's just how it works. And this is all we're going to do, guys, for the next few minutes of this video. We're going to be defensive. If anybody comes close, we're going to put this big old shotgun on and put them down. If we see anybody at a distance, we're going to hit them with whatever we've got. We've got plenty of submachine gun, we've got plenty of assault rifle, we might have a bit of pistol, we've got shotgun just in case, and here come the big guys. So this is where you can confuse this AI. So do you notice how he was walking up the stairs, and the moment I shot him, he decided to turn back this way? That's all he's going to do. He's never going to go where he needs to be, so we're never in any trouble from these enemies, because for some reason their pathing cannot figure out where I am. And I've been playing some really evil games recently, guys, where the pathing is so fantastic that you can't hide anywhere. The pathing just understands it perfectly and gets to you in seconds. This is not one of those games. And at the beginning of this walkthrough, I mentioned that the AI is kind of fucking stupid. This is why. This should not be something that gives me complete immunity in a video game. I should not be able to go into a vent and have everybody run and stand in front of the vent and let me kill them like it's GoldenEye. That's just not how the game should be, but unfortunately, it is. And I'm using it because this is the hardest difficulty. You do everything you can to survive, that's the point. But there's also a part of me that's a little bit disappointed that the enemies are falling for this. And this is an example of just how bad the shotgun is at range, but I don't really have much of an alternative, so I love how fast it shoots, and I love the shells just cascading out of it, scattering like confetti and glitter. Wonderful, glorious violence. This is my favourite level in the game as well, if you've not noticed. I love the idea of a meat grinder, just being like, you're in a level now, time to fucking live. Kill and live. And in a game where the shooting is really satisfying, when it comes to, running around hip-firing everything with double guns, this game pulls it off really well. It's just unfortunate that I can't really play like that because of how hard the difficulty is. And there's a level coming up just after this one where I'm going to do a little bit of run and gun, and it's going to show you just how much damage you take on this game. Even when you're shooting everybody and you feel like you're doing really well, you are still one bullet away from death. But there's the courtroom guy, there's the judge, put him down with a couple shots, and just wait for the checkpoint. When you see that circular spinning microfilm, it means you've won. And there's not long left now, guys. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 enemies just chilling out, and I don't want to rush forward because I'm 1 bullet away from death. But I know that we've pretty much got this done, so I'm going to tentatively move up here. Pick up as much armor as I can. I'm mashing pick up armor for the life of me. Something that I really don't get about this game, why you have to manually pick things up. It's one of those things that I didn't understand with not GoldenEye, sorry. I didn't understand with Uncharted. That was lucky too, you see that? That was lucky. That was a really clutch play from me. Do not get snuck up on by one of those bastards. Like, Uncharted is this game that does all these modern things and looks fantastic and is at the edge of technology, and then it has you manually picking everything up. I came from Perfect Dark, where you picked everything up automatically, and to me it's such a better system. Like, I understand you have to pick up guns manually, but ammunition, really? And there's another one, of course there's another one. Look at that, that was a scary moment. But once again, guys, watch the AI here. Because I've gone and stood here, you'd think, oh, he's going to chase me, right? He's got to the top of the stairs, why wouldn't he chase me? That's what he should do. So I see him, I shoot him a little bit just there, and look at him backskating. He's moving backwards, and alas, he's coming back down the stairs. There is something with the AI here where they cannot figure this out. It's almost blanket immunity, minus the fact that everything is so accurate and can kill you through geometry sometimes. Fun fact as well, folks. On the final mission of the game, there is a section where there's a man with a shotgun and he can shoot you through an entire ship. You take care now.